Well, welcome here, Punch Out Boxing. Delighted to be here with Jack Hughes. I don't know if I should call you the punk kid still, because whenever I see you these days, you're all conservative and sensible looking. Are you still a punk rocker?
Course, it'd be a punk till I die, mate.
All right, so still the punk kid.
Yes.
Jack, thanks for giving us some time. Just to recap, last year you retired. But
Yeah.
I'm guessing, like everyone involved in this game, including us, the fans, every time you say you're fed up of it, you just can't come help but come back, especially with so much going on. Am I right?
Exactly that, mate. Exactly that.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? That fight against Lewis,
Lewis Roberts, yeah.
yeah, ended in a bit of a an anticlimactic technical decision. Well, why did you retire? I know you had a yeah, adorable baby girl who we sometimes see at ringside. Did you just
Yeah.
want to spend some time with her that first year? And was it the politics? Why did you give up for a bit?
Yeah, it's like a bit of everything, really. Like, yeah, I just had a baby girl and I didn't really see her much at all. Like, I missed probably the first 4, 5, 6 months of her growing up. And then, I was missing my family. I was coming home every day. Sorry, getting into the gym every day and I just didn't want to be there. I wanted to be at home. And then, yeah, the politics side as well. I got messed around a hell of a lot towards the end. I got offered so many fights, accepted them all, and then we weren't hearing back from people's promoters. And then like promoters were calling us, telling us the fight was on, telling us it was off, on, off, on, off, on, off. Like there was just a lot of messing around, and in the end, I was just a bit like, this is just becoming pretty much pathetic from like all angles from boxing. So yeah, I just decided to call it a day, and I think the rest was definitely well needed.
Hmm. I can only imagine what that's like because I mean, me just being involved in the media side, I realize how this industry is just full of messes. And obviously,
Yes.
I'm not putting in an 8 to 10 week training camp like you
Mm,
guys. So, yeah,
exactly.
I can imagine it is so frustrating. But yeah, all right. So you've had a year away, and yeah, what was it in particular that made you want to come back?
Well, as I was saying, I was getting messed around a lot towards the end, and the things I was getting messed around with were it was like actually fights over in the States. I think I got offered 3 different fights in the States and accepted them all.
Hmm.
And obviously all of them fell through. And if anyone knows me, knows I absolutely love America. I haven't been since I was like a little boy, but
Hmm.
my whole image, like the way I dress, like the movies I watch, the music I listen to, it's all American. I love it there. It's
Hmm.
like I feel like I was born in the wrong place. So to fight over there would be an absolute dream. And when I retired, I was gutted. I never obviously got the opportunity to do it, even though it was given to me 3 times to do. And and then lo and behold, obviously TM40 went out to Texas and they
Hmm.
took a whole load of UK people over there. And I watched it and I was just like, man, this is the dream. This is everything.
Yeah.
And so it started to sit with me, and then I was like, nah, I need to come back. Like I need to fight in America, and that is on the cards for me now. That is like 110% going to happen in July. So that would be dream come true. And I also promised my missus that I would take her and the kids away to Disney World. So I need to have a couple fights and save a couple bags to go over to Disney World.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, John Trethewey, who incidentally is the guy that launched my media career. You got me into
Mm,
this. Yeah, he did say that you're coming back after watching that show in Texas. So yeah,
mm,
real welcome back. Now
mm.
you've already got 3 fights scheduled. I get the impression now you just want to dive straight in, have a boxing adventure, fight as often as you can till I guess what you don't feel like it or can't do it anymore.
Mm.
Starting with Saturday. You're going over to Jack Williams's hometown, Ipswich. The word on the grapevine is this is a hot prospect.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're not coming back to be a journeyman, but it's it's fair to say you don't mind coming back as the away fighter.
Yeah, so just so you know, it's actually 4 fights I've got lined up at
Oh
the
wow.
moment. But yeah, yeah. So the American one in July is obviously not on box rec yet. But yeah, so I know Jack very well. We're actually really good friends. We've sparred before, everything, and I can assure you that he is a hot prospect and he's gonna do very big things. And yeah, it got offered to me. It's actually a fight I didn't really want to take, not out of like fear or anything. It's just because of the fact we are good friends.
Hmm.
Um, but I know that he's desperate to step up, and he didn't want to fight journeyman anymore. He wanted to like elevate his career and move forward and have hard fights and good fights. And in a weird way, me being a friend, I want to give him an opportunity to prove himself. But at the same time, obviously, I'm still going there to win
Hmm.
100%. Um, so I was just like, "Do you know what, Jack? You want to prove yourself? Here's the opportunity to do so." And yeah, I mean, I'm getting decent money for it as well. So and it's basically everything I love about boxing is a different venue to fight in, a good opponent to test myself, a different crowd, different atmosphere, away day, um, and yeah, that's what I want to do. And obviously, I've got a couple of them lined up at the moment, and I feel like I've said this in a couple of interviews now. I feel like boxing is a coward sport. I've never met a brave man in boxing, like honestly. And I look at the way the industry is, and I just think it's such a joke. Um, Especially if you're signed by the top promoters in the world.
Hmm.
You can con the whole world into thinking you're something special by fighting journeymen and people from like foreign countries who should never be in a ring with you, and build them as 50-50 fights, and just blowing people away in like a round or two, and have the easiest career set out for you, and never take a hard fight if you don't need to, and like win titles and get it all mapped out and all planned for you. And I just look at that and think, what kind of career is that? And how can you ever be proud and say to brag to people that you did this and did that, and just knowing full heartedly you just did it the coward's way? And I generally think like boxing is not a brave man's sport anymore. It's a coward's man's sport, because you have the opportunity to do this and it's all that people do. And I've never wanted to be that guy.
Hmm.
So when hard fights and challenges come my way, I want to step up to that and be the man, and tell my friends that I did it the hard way, and tell my kids, and so my kids can look up to that and be like, wow, my dad never ducked no one. He fought the best, and he fought like he took the hardest route he could. And even like when I won my title, people will look at Paul Roberts's record straight away and just be like, oh, journeyman, like six wins, six losses, and two draws. Mate, Paul Roberts is a free weight champion. Southern area at Superfly, Southern area at Fly, Commonwealth silver at Light Fly, and in my opinion, should be the legit Commonwealth champion at Light Fly, because I think he got very hard done by on the scorecards. And Paul Roberts has gone on the road and fought everyone in the division. So like, fair play to him. And that's one of the hardest fights you can get out there in in it around the flyweight division. And I took that fight twice and had two like life or death fights with him twice,
Hmm.
and one fight of the year as well. And then that I retired there and come back again.
Hmm.
Had a couple build up fights, and then took a fight with a bantamweight, like a weight or two heavier than me, undefeated 9-0 in his hometown for the Commonwealth silver. and like genuinely believe I won that fight as well, but feel like I got very hard done by on the scorecards. And I just want to be in good, entertaining, hard fights and be a real fighting man. Like I don't want to be a fighter, call myself a fighting man, and then not what don't fight anyone and have the easiest route planned out for me. I'd never want that in my life. If that was the case, I would never box again. If that was the map that the road that it was planned out for me.
Yeah, I see what you mean. You remind me of something. Another fighter, Louis Green, said he's another guy who said what you said, that
Mm,
why do some of these guys just want the easy route? Because I don't know if you know
mm,
Louis. He's the super welterweight. He sort of goes. He always goes in as the away fighter.
yeah,
He knocked out something like four unbeaten prospects in a row, the
that's
away fighter, and yet a big promoter still won't sign him. And I just think, well, look, the big promoters, Turkey, obviously, if you really are about it, give the
mm,
guys who, like yourselves, who are willing to take the risks, give them the big paydays.
it's true.
The fighters who are willing to take the hard fights, put their records on the line, they're the ones that should be rewarded.
Mm,
Anyway, Jack Williams first up, like you said, a hard fight. That's over 6 rounds, and then
yeah.
just a month later, you're going into the cauldron of the SSE arena to fight the Irish prospect Jack O'Neill. I mean, that
Yeah.
is going to be what a night. I mean, the Ipswich one's going to be a night and a half as well, because my
Yeah.
understanding is the Ipswich fans come out for their home fighters. But then
Mm.
again, I mean, the SSE arena that night is gonna be one of the best atmospheres you get in the fight game.
Oh, man, I can't wait. Again, as I was saying, it's like everything you'd want from boxing. Like I come back for away days abroad, and big nights, and Belfast, like away, another country I've never been to before. Um, the zone boxing don't get any bigger than that. SES Arena holds 11,000 people. I mean, I know I'm going to be on pretty early, but I'm still expecting maybe, I don't know, 4,000 people
Yeah.
watching in the arena, and however many will be watching at home. I could have maybe like 10,000 or more people watching me like on the stream and everything. So yeah, it doesn't get any better or bigger than that on the undercard of a world title eliminator. So it's everything you could ask for, man.
And then a month after that, I mean that big one that TM14 and Nielsen are putting on, the 5v5 UK v USA, you're gonna fight at Chelsea FC now. Am I right in thinking you are a West Londoner?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if you're a football fan, but it's closer to home, but
Mm,
another historic event. And this American guy, Joe Collins, again 5-0, 5 KOs. Um, again, exactly as you said, you're not mucking around, going straight
yeah.
in with a hard-hitting prospect that's going to be looking to take your head off. Hey, well,
Mhm.
I mean that's 3 fights in a row. You're going in with guys who are coming to take your head off.
Yeah, exactly. And my last four opponents, including Lewis Roberts, would have all been undefeated prospects, and and as I said, this is what boxing's about. Like, if you're not really about it, like this life, then you shouldn't be a pro boxer. Um, I want to test myself, and I am, and I'm getting all these amazing opportunities thrown at me, and I'm going to be fighting in Ipswich, SES Arena, and Chelsea Football Stadium. Like, and I'm just some little nobody from West London, and I'm getting all these amazing opportunities thrown at me because of the way I've built my character and promoted myself over the years. Like I'm getting opportunities that people that have been in the game for years and years and achieved way more than me haven't
Mhm.
even got. So I'm just looking forward to just coming back and having all these fights and getting a couple wins along the way. And I know I'm still good enough to win and compete for titles, and that's what I aim to do. I aim to have 5 or 6 this year,
Mhm.
and one of them being a big title fight. And Yeah, the Stamford Bridge one is one I'm cannot wait for to as you said, this American prospect, 5 fights, 5 KOs, all in the first round as well. And I truly believe I'm going to go in there and smash him up. And I'm a QPR fan as well, fighting at Stamford Bridge, so that's the way that should be entertaining.
That will be, yeah, when you come out onto the pitch, because apparently they're going to do the face-off. So, yeah,
Yeah,
bring your QPR banner
yeah,
with you.
I
Um,
will do.
uh, yeah, Jack, what weight class are you going to operate for these three fights?
Well, I'm a super flyweight. I'm still a super flyweight, but
Hmm.
the Jack Williams fight is at bantam. The Jack O'Neill fight in Belfast is at super bantam, and solely just because it's at super bantam and I'm fighting a month later,
Hmm.
it's probably going to be at super bantam as well because obviously I'm going to rehydrate
Yeah,
and I ain't going to have enough time to get down to like bantam or super fly in 4 weeks. So we're just going to keep it. It's going to be bantam, super bantam, super bantam. But when we go back out to America in July, I would really like to fight at super fly or maybe even fly.
yeah. Do you know anything more about the America trip?
Not really, just that it's in July and it's meant to be Independence weekend. There's, I think it's most likely going to be in Texas, but there's a couple other locations they're talking about. Don't really know if I can say, to be honest, but yeah, just Texas Independence weekend.
All right. Well, like you said, what an experience, and
Mhm.
you'll make it turn it into a little holiday as well for after the fight, I guess.
Of course, 100%. Couple restaurants out there I need to eat in, so I'll be definitely to checking them out.
Hey, after fight night, you'll want to try out a Texas steak, I'm sure.
Yeah,
You
something's got to be done.
you being a super flyweight though, I mean, some of them steaks might be bigger than you.
Probably, yeah.
So yeah, you answered what I was going to ask you. Like, you still get ambitions to win titles.
Mm,
I was just looking at the super flyweight division in the UK, and I don't know if you've like kept an eye on things. You know, it's actually really interesting domestically because you've now got a lot of these hotshot prospects coming up.
mm,
There's Hamzoudine, who's with Matchroom. He's quite a flashy kid.
mm.
Um, there's the Liverpudlian kid, Talon, I think his name is.
Yeah, he don't want to
Um,
fight me.
yeah, he's good. There's Jack Turner. What would you like? Would you maybe target Brandon Dale, his Sonny Edwards' fighter, who's the English champ?
Mm.
Or
Yeah, I know he's got a British title fight coming up against, is
Mhm.
it Michael something? I can't remember his name. But yeah, like, as I said, I'm just here to have big fights against, and I'll take on anyone. We do have obviously people lined up in the future that we're actually looking at to get to get a winnable like title fight for me, like a really good 50-50 scrap that
Mhm.
people I've been looking at. Um, but I guess it's all just it's just all in boxing's hands really. Whatever gets thrown at me, that I'll take. I've had so many offers come in. Um, we've actually had to turn a couple down just because there's so many,
Mhm.
and like I think I got offered two again in March, but I'm already fighting 3 times, and they were good, great fights as well, and fights I've said to them like, look, I can't take it now because I've got this fight in the 1st of March and this fight in the 5th of April. Like I don't really even, to be honest with you, I don't mind taking a fight there, but if anything happens, like I get cut or anything, then
Mhm.
my April Stamford Bridge fight is just off. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really want to take that risk because I'm looking forward to that so much. But yeah, the phone's just not stopped ringing for me, there's loads of exciting fights out there. But I think after I have these 4 fights, I'm gonna start instead of just taking everything that's thrown at me. I'm gonna like start to map out my career properly again because as you mentioned earlier, I kind of don't want to become I don't want to be a journeyman and I don't want to be that kind of guy when you know, it's kind of like last minute, and they're like, "Who can we call?" And then, "Oh no, no, we're called Jack Hughes. Like, here, just step into it."
Hmm.
Um, because at the same time, even though I love that because I just love fighting, I still have ambitions to win stuff. Like I would still love to have another title to take home. And and boxing's, you know, the more titles are coming out all the time now. You got the Commonwealth silver and now the European silver, two like brand new belts that have come out in the space of like a year or two.
Hmm.
And it gives fighters more opportunity to win belts and more great fights and more like easier to make 50-50 fights. So yeah, I think get these four out of the way, and I think me and John want to have a title fight by the end of the year.
Wow, incredible stuff. And of course, who knows, the American one, could that involve a title, or is that going to be another of those strange five rounders that they like in America?
Yeah, I think the one in America is going to be a 5 rounder, but you never know. I might get offered a title fight out in America as well, and we're
Yeah,
definitely
oh,
taking that.
that's got to be the dream. I mean, but
Yeah.
what's, I mean, are there any particular names that you want to call out, or anyone you got beef with, or needle, or?
Not necessarily particularly, but I mean that Mike Tullen. I've been calling him out now for a long time. I see him fight Ben Norman,
Hmm.
and I weren't really impressed with him at all. That's a fight I'd love to have. He said he wants title fights as well. Well, I'm here. I
Yeah,
just mentioned two belts that are vacant in the division. We could fight for both of them on the same night. Like
yeah.
he's with. I don't know if he's signed with Boxer. I know he's signed with Natasha Jonas,
Hmm.
and he's been on Boxer a couple times. Easy fight to make.
Yeah.
So easy. But again, as I said earlier when I went on kind of my whole little speech about there's a lot of cowards, he does not want the fight at all.
Hmm.
Mentioned it a couple times, never heard back from him, views my stories all the time, never says anything. I tagged Boxer in it, I've tagged Natasha Jonas in it, I've messaged her on Twitter. She deletes my tweets straight away. So I don't think that they want to know me at all. But what can you do, man? I mean, there are some people that want to step up, like Jack Williams and Jack O'Neill.
Hmm.
Like fair play to both of them. They're only Jack's 1-0, and the other Jack O'Neill is
Yeah.
3-0, and
Hmm.
they're taking a massive step up in you know so early on in their career. So fair play to them, and it shows a lot of balls and a lot of courage. I wish everyone was like that, because if everyone was like that, in my mind, there's no doubt that boxing would be the greatest sport in the world.
Hmm.
If people were just stepping up and there were 50-50 fights on every show, 100% it'd be the best sport in the world.
Yeah, indeed. So, I mean, Jack, you've been a pro now for what is it, 8 years, 9 years?
9 years now, yeah.
9 years. I mean, looking at a lot of fighters' careers, it's not unusual that it actually takes the better part of a decade for most fighters to actually sort of get those big opportunities. Like, unless you're like a
Mhm.
top level amateur or
Yeah.
Olympian or something, that is actually not unusual. So,
Mhm.
could be like a good, hopefully, a good run into the end of your career.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. So this, as you said, this, as we were saying, this is my ninth year now, and I've got loads of great fights already lined up. Like so far, it's already looking like it's going to be the best year of my career. And we're going to get a couple more in. My goal is obviously America,
Hmm.
which is ticked off basically. Um, I'd like to get another title, and my other two goals are to hit 20 fights,
Hmm.
which I'm only 6 fights away from, and I've got four lined up already, so I'm pretty close. And my other goal is to hit 10 years as a pro, so I've only got one more year to do that.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I just think it would be incredible because not many people last this long in boxing. Um, Even like world champions, you see,
Yeah.
I've outlasted Sonny Edwards. I think Sonny Edwards, I think only had like 7, 6 years, something like that,
Yeah.
as a pro. And yeah, so basically doubled his career. Like, and I lost my debut, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's never going to last. He's never going to last." And nine years later, here I am. And when I turned over, everyone I turned over with, they're all gone. They're all retired, and I think it's literally just Linus Adofia and Brad Pauls are the only two that are still going. So yeah, to hit the 10-year mark, that will just be massive and something that definitely need to do.
Yeah, and let's hope. Well, this year's already going to be great. Let's hope for a couple more great years.
So
Um, Jack, yeah, just one last thing. Like so many pros, you have to still hold down the day job. You've just come back. It's
mhm.
fight week, and you've just done a long shift at work. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
how hard is that? I mean, do you think you'll get the opportunity to say train just full time for any of these upcoming fights?
it's super hard. As you said, I literally just done a 14 and a half hour shift at work today. So yeah, super long day. To be honest with you, the way my life is now, I probably won't get the chance to train full time anymore because just solely because I need the money. Like I've got
Hmm.
a wife, I've got a house, I've got kids, I've got another kid on the way that's going to be due in like 2 weeks' time. So yeah, I just don't have that luxury anymore of where I was kind of didn't have as much responsibilities and I could just call my work up and be like, I'm taking 8 weeks off. Like I've done that before and it was great to literally be a full-time boxer for 8 weeks. But luckily enough, for the Jack O'Neill fight, I've actually got the whole month off for
Hmm.
the zone one in Belfast because my baby girl should be due by then.
Yeah.
So gonna be on maternity and basically training alongside that as well. So kind of lucky there a little bit, but it's only like 4 weeks, so it's like half a camp really. I've got off to train for that, but I mean that's still amazing for me. 4 weeks of being an actual full-time pro.
Yeah. I've got to keep reminding fans, look, most of these guys aren't earning Anthony Joshua and Canelo money. It's
Not at
it
all.
is hard. But you know what? I got a dream for you.
Yeah, God.
This year is going to be so good. You're going to get those wins. You're going to get a title. You're going to stay in shape. And then
Mm.
next year, one of them Japanese super flyweight champs, they're going to have a last minute pullout,
Yeah,
and Jack Hughes will be European or Commonwealth champion. They're like, hey, we've had a pullout. You want this payday? Get over to Tokyo.
yeah.
That's my
Hopefully,
dream for
mate.
you.
Hopefully that would be the dream.
All right, Jack. It's a pleasure.
So,
Yeah, great having you back. Like I said, we can't help keep away from this sport, can we? So it
oh
was
no,
inevitable. Yeah. Good luck for Saturday. I'll
thank
hopefully
you, mate.
see you after the fight.
Oh, nice. You're
And,
gonna be there, yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna be making the trip to Ipswich. Like you said, it's part of the
No,
adventure.
it
New
is.
venue, new town, and
Mm-hmm.
yes, and yeah, it's part of the adventure. So
Nice.
I'll see you Saturday night.
Yeah. See you Saturday, mate.